My beloved, the church today, we almost get to the end of the church year, and this is the second of the general Sundays. So therefore, because they are general Sundays, I chose this topic for today from Romans 12:12. St. Paul says, rejoicing in hope. Rejoicing in hope. So that means if there is no hope, we can't rejoice, we can't get happy. So this is what we are going to focus on today. Without a doubt, the Lord should be our hope. Therefore, His faithful children. When I say faithful, all believers, I want you to know the difference. Believers, when I say believers, that means all Christians, because they are believers. They believe in God, the Holy Trinity, in the resurrection, on and on. But when I say the faithful children, that means I'm specifying the children, they are faithful to the Lord. They are connected to the Lord. So that's why I'm saying, therefore, His faithful children continuously live by hope despite all these circumstances. How? Realizing and believing He will lead them through the entire life, relying on Him with everything. And they don't care how life is complicated or difficult it is. They don't care, because they have a trust in Him. So this is, my beloved, this part is for the faithful people. Now let's move on to the second part, which is for those who lose hope, but in high percentage. They lose hope, high percentage of hope, especially during the difficult time. So they go through circumstances. Begins, or for example, the morale gradually declines, or goes down. And then the same person will say to himself, well, there is no way that I can get out of this problem. And then, or followed by anxiety and very low percentage of hope. The reason why, because there is no spiritual life renewal. And when I say that, let me give you just this very simple, example for that. If I have a pond next to my house, for example, and that pond, the water is not moving, after a while, the water turned to a green smell, because it's not moving, not renewed. But if we talk about the spring water, the water keep running, renew itself, looks like a crystal clear water. That's how the spiritual or the faithful people life will be. So let's move on to the third one, which is, this part is for those who lose hope completely. Completely. Number one, fear will take over the person. Secondly, same person feel he is not the same person. I have seen that. The person who feel is not the same person, which is very difficult, believe me, situation. And third, sorry to say it, the person becomes like a toy in Satan's hand. What I mean? Because Satan is going to shower that person with many different negative thoughts. So whoever loses hope, he must have lost faith first. And to lose faith, definitely you will lose happiness. And as a Christian, we should live happy, because we have all the tools that we need. And the Lord, He is always there for us. And He wants us to see us, happy. So those, unfortunately, they continue. And like I said, some of the people will lose even life, because they lost hope. And most of the people who commit suicide, those people lose hope. And our hope, it's not just here, of course, in this, world. Well, of course, we should have, our God as a number one hope. But there is so much up there. So much waiting to open us. So let's move on to the second point, which is hope never fail. Hope should never fail as a Christian. So about this, let me talk about a very interesting story and meaningful story about husband and wife. They loved each other. So one day they decided to travel away on a boat. So a couple of days later, the boat faced very strong storm. So the wife, she was very scared and hold one of the bars with two hands. So she's scared, she may fall into the sea, and then who's going to rescue her? So then the wife, she looked at her husband and she asked him this question, "Aren't you afraid?" He was holding, of course, the baba. He wasn't afraid. He didn't answer in the beginning. And he gave a smile, actually. What he did, he pulled his sword and pointed toward her heart, saying to her, then he asked her this question, "Are you afraid?" She replied to him, "No." The husband said, "How come? Don't you see I'm pointing my sword toward your heart?" She said, "I do see, but I am not scared because the sword is in my husband's hand." The husband replied to her, he said, "That's exactly how I see the storm. The storm, it's in Jesus' hand. Why should I be scared?" So the reason why, of course, because the person has so much of hope. And all of us, we should have this, that nothing, absolutely nothing, as a faithful people I'm talking, would happen to me unless the Lord allowed. Keep this in your mind. Nothing could happen to me in this world unless the Lord allowed. So what we can get out of this story, a trust of God. We should trust Him. We should trust God because a trust, or hope generate actually a trust. Or the other way around could be also. If we trust Him also, we can increase our hope in Him. And if we increase our trust in Him or hope, definitely we will get more of happiness into our life. All of us, we love to be happy, aren't you? All of us love to be happy, enjoy life, and enjoy our church and life and children, and on and on. And I will end my sermon with this verse from Psalm 71, verse 5. The great King David says, "For you are my hope, O Lord, You are my trust. That's why, whoever read, the Old Testament, David went through so many different wars against so many different nations. He wasn't scared. Because every time he take the Lord with him, that's it. That's it. And many times, actually, the Lord told him, you don't need that big number of soldiers. Just take a few hundreds. But Lord, if someone else would say, Lord, the enemies, there are thousands and thousands of enemies. But just to show him, the Lord, that I am with you. And of course, he's very experienced and he's very well with that. That's why he always trusted the Lord and always conquered the enemies. So my beloved, put your trust in Jesus, who loves you the most. And you know that, how much he loves you. Trust him the way you have trusted the drivers or the bus drivers, the pilots, the attorneys, and on and on. But Jesus, remember, Jesus is loyal more than everybody else. And God bless you.